Pistons are sitting there at 5. The one thing we have pointed out is that virtually everyone, it seemed, had the Pistons selecting Matas Buzelis, G League player who's got a YouTube. You can get down the YouTube highlight reel wormhole with him and come away very excited because he has some incredibly flashy highlights. But the Athletic just put together a mock draft. Had Detroit not getting Matas Buzelis, had actually going 4 to San Antonio, which would be just about right. If Buzelis turns into a star, San Antonio has had documented the most draft luck, lottery luck of any organization. So them being in front of Detroit when Detroit was authentically as awful as they were would fall in line after dropping to 5. But this story goes on to say that the type of player that Trajan Langdon and his former team would identify over the past few seasons is available in this draft. Story says the type of player coveted is somewhat obvious. If you look at how Langdon and his former team, the Pelicans, drafted, there was an attraction to tall, long wings with shooting upside and legitimate switchability on defense. The player they identified that might be in Langdon's wheelhouse is a 6'7" 19-year-old wing player from Colorado, Cody Williams. He has a 7'1" wingspan. He has great versatility as a defender due to his quickness and his wingspan. On offense, he's been able to finish in a variety of ways because of his long arms. He's not a great leaper, but he's crafty around the rim. He shot 41.5% from 3. Didn't take a lot of threes, only 41 on the year. And he's got some point forward potential to him, a guy that can distribute the basketball. So is this a Trajan Langdon type of player? Could be. Could be. Using intel and what he did, what was done in New Orleans when he was there. Keep an eye out for Cody Williams. Now, do you have his stats in front of you by chance?
Yes.
Okay. 1 year at Colorado.
Yep. Played 24 games, started 18 of them, averaged 28 minutes a game.
How many points per game did he score?
He averaged 12 points a game.
I mean, it's amazing that this guy's a top 5 potential prospect.
And he shot 41% from three-point land, even though he only averaged less than 2 3-pointers.
He didn't shoot a ton, did he?
No.
Yep. Anyway, so that might be the insight as to what Trajan Langdon could be after. And at this point, the NBA draft it's starting to feel like a bit like the baseball draft or the hockey draft, where I used to feel like I knew. Now I don't want to blow smoke up people's channel and say, oh, this is a great pick or a tell, but it's harder to know now than ever before.
Well, I'd like to have an idea of what he's really looking to do with this team. I mean, first of all, it comes with, do you sign Cade to the monster deal?
Mm-hmm.
And you probably do. And if you do,
Probably.
are you looking to move guys away from this team and kind of start over and build around Cade, or what are you doing? You know, and I don't know what they're going to do. You know, Fontecchio is a guy who can absolutely shoot and is an NBA player because he can hit the 3-point shot. So that's 2 guys if you're going to go with that. Then I like Jalen Duren. I think he's got a lot of versatility. Okay, that's 3. Now what? Don't know. And how does it, fit in with what you're going to draft? Asar Thompson showed promise last year, being a guy who can defend and do a lot of the little things that you like. Is that what you're going to go after again with this pick? Are we just going to have a bunch of 3-and-D guys? I mean, being better defensively does resonate for sure, but you've got to be able to shoot the basketball more than anything else in this league. And I don't know if they have enough shooters. So you got to find, is it the best shooter you're looking for, or are you looking for the best defender you can find at 5?
What really gets weird is it almost seems like what you should be after is second contract guys anymore, because there's so much development that's done at the NBA level that you draft these guys, you have them for a few years, and then they're kind of ready to go, but they're already getting to their second contract. So, it's a difficult deal to try and figure out how good or bad this pick. I mean, as we get closer to the draft, we'll go the deep dive on a lot of these prospects and have a better sense for it. But God, it's never been an exact science.
No.
but it felt like more predictable. I feel like the NBA looked at the college basketball tree with all the ripe fruit, and they used to take the ripest fruit. Hey, this guy is senior, is really developed, good player, and they got to the point where they started plucking the unripe fruit instead. And now it's just as soon as the fruit starts to even, grow, they're grabbing it off the tree. Like it's just earlier and earlier and earlier. I mean, and so it's just hard to know what you're getting.
We look at our two championship teams that they had, the Bad Boys and the Going to Work Pistons, and they both created in different ways. But one thing that they both were veteran-laden teams. They had the second pick overall in the draft, and that kid hardly played when they won their championship.
Yep.
Hardly played. And obviously they didn't need him. They won despite the fact that they had this number 2 player that wasn't going to play. The Bad Boy Pistons, Isaiah was drafted after his sophomore year.
Yep.
With Kelly Tripucka, and Tripucka was the guy who was there longer, and both of those guys hit the ground running with the Pistons. They were fun to watch, even though they weren't winning games in the early 80s. But by the time that they were winning a championship, again, veteran-laden. You had Rodman and Sally were part of the 86 draft, I think, whatever, and Dumars from 85, and they were winning at the latter part of the 80s. So it took a while. But now it's a totally different game.
Totally different.
It's a totally different game because you're counting on guys right away.
Kang, what do you know about Cody Williams in the draft?
Well, the whole draft thing starts with Trajan Langdon, right? The whole report came to him. This is the guy the type of player he looks for. I'm curious, and I think everyone's curious, what Trajan Langdon's timeline is that he was given by Tom Gores. Is he completely, hey, you can start this from square one, rebuild, do it all your way, or hey, we got to get something going here within the next 2-3 years? Because that changes things on how he drafts and what kind of player he goes after.
Yep.
Because no matter what, it's highly unlikely whoever Trajan Langdon drafts is going to impact this team that much next year. Now, he might be a player 2, 3, 4 years down the line, but next year, what is he going to do to this team? What's he going to bring to this team? Because the Pistons are so far behind everyone else in the league. Like you talk about veteran players, Gator. They're one of the youngest teams in the league, and they just don't have players, period.
Right.
So you got maybe Cade Cunningham, and what else? The rest of the other guys, you might have some positive like role players in Duran and Asor Thompson, right? I'm not sure what Jaden Ivey is, but they need some players. And that's why I go back to my original statement of what's the timeline for Trajan Langdon? Is he going to go out there and be aggressive and get a Paul George, Klay Thompson, whatever, a veteran-type player, or are we just building this thing from scratch? We'll find out on what he does with the 5th overall pick, whether he keeps it or trades him.